Well, IIyas, following the EG Group deals with EFR in October 2016, and then this year, first Italy and then the Germany announcement, you've become one of Europe's largest independent forecourt retailers. What's the journey of expansion been like, and what things in particular excite you about your growing presence in the European market?
It's an exciting period for the business. Phenomenal kind of opportunities have presented themselves, but they've been about for the last few years. So if we look at the forecourt retail sector, a lot of oil majors have been deciding that they want to divest their assets, and it's for the independent forecourt operators to kind of come forward with their business model and put a strong case. And we've been very fortunate in terms of the business model that we operate, which is company-owned, company-operated site operations, and we've been very successful with that. And what EG Group has been able to do is give the confidence to the oil majors that this is the way forward. Yes, historically, the dealer kind of method of site operation has always been in place, and it's been the traditional model that's been kind of operated not only in the UK, but across continental Europe as well. And what we wanted to kind of demonstrate is we as a business can have the breadth of brand partnerships that can work in all the different types of methods of site operation. So a big distinction once we've gone into Europe, a lot of the network that we're securing are dealer operated sites. So it's how we're going to manage those kind of sites, how we're going to integrate the brand offers, brand partner offers into those locations. That's going to be the big challenge. And for us, the experience that we've gained along the way, we've come to realize what works in the UK doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work in continental Europe. And what I mean by that is consumer behavior, market trends, all these aspects have to be taken into account. So if we look at the French, their kind of notion of what the definition of bread is in terms of a fresh baguette, sitting down for lunch and having a full meal. Coffee taste, they don't like milky coffee, they want espressos. So again, this is part of the business journey that we've got to take as a senior leadership team and understand what do consumers want in the respective markets. The Italians, for example, again, they'll have a milky coffee in the morning. In the afternoons, it's all espresso. So after 12 o'clock, they'll move towards espresso drinking.
You're faced with different kinds of operational challenges operating in a number of different markets. What are those challenges, and how are you getting to grips with them?
I would say we've got more kind of support centres across our kind of countries of operation. So from the UK, we've got a lot of the shared service kind of management team based out of here. Then in the Netherlands, we've got colleagues working out of Breda. And then in France, we've got Sergi. We've secured an office support centre in Rome now for the Italy network. And again, as we secure more market opportunities, we'll be looking to kind of open up more support centres across Europe. Because in this business, yes, you need to have a kind of a focal point. And yeah, a lot of the senior leadership team sit in the UK, but you still need people on the ground, and you need management on the ground within the various countries as well.
You mentioned it already, but obviously the Italian consumer, the UK consumer, the French consumer, they're all on a convenience journey, should we say, but there are differences between the markets. I suppose, now you have the EG Group has an appreciation of some of those nuances between markets. It must be a very interesting perspective.
Yeah, in my role as a group commercial director, Dan, what's important is we work with our existing brand partners. So there's a continual dialogue with the brand partners we already work with, and getting an understanding of what their growth aspirations are as well. So, for example, the likes of Starbucks, what do they want to do in France? What do they want to do in other markets that we're securing? getting an understanding of their growth plans and what their kind of offer is for that respective market is important. What we've also then got to do, the flip side of that, is how do we address local consumer kind of demand? And that can only be delivered by identifying local players. So whether that's food to go, whether that's on the convenience side, we've got to identify brands which might be more attractive to the consumer. If you look at a country like Italy, for example, north and south, there's big regional differences. And what we've got to do as a business is get an understanding of that and identify the right brands. So in my role, it's about kind of engaging the right brands as well as leveraging off the existing global brands we work with and seeing which is the best fit for that respective market.
Can I ask you about the food to go mix, in terms of the, fuel, food to go and shop sales? How important is food to go to this business?
I think you just have to look at consumer behavior today. Everyone's leading a very fast lifestyle. Time is money to everyone. And what we are recognizing in the marketplace is the broader your food to go offer in terms of choice, in terms of variety as well, in terms of healthy notion as well. Customers are looking for destinations which have something for everybody. So if we take the example of a family traveling, is there something for the children? Can they access something which is a bit snacky, which they're going to enjoy? The parents might want a Starbucks. You might have your elderly kind of parents with you. So again, trying to accommodate everyone's kind of tastes and consideration. I think the future success will be having a mix or a food court offer which delivers something in terms of menu, in terms of choice, but also from a value to a kind of if we kind of measured it from a value proposition to a kind of a premium proposition as well. Because on forecourts, you don't know who's going to be driving onto your site. So you'll get a mixture of people who are the premium kind of food to go buyers, but you'll also get customers who are looking for that value proposition as well. So the breadth of brand partnerships you have is going to be important for the future, and I think that is one of the big successes with EG Group. We've been able to identify a mix of brands which deliver all these elements.
Your brand partners have been very supportive throughout your growth. How do you see the relationship with those partners developing, and what are their views on what lies ahead?
I think what's important with any brand partner is they're trusting you. And that trust, it takes time to nurture, to kind of get the brand partners to come on board. So something which starts off with, let's do a trial, let's see what the consumer response is, to get it to a stage where now you're responsible for delivering your own training for that brand. That is where you need to get it to, and that's where EG Group have been very successful. So trust is a big piece. Secondly, investment. You've got to be willing to invest to the level that the brand partner desires. Taking shortcuts, not wanting to kind of invest to the level that is needed, again, that's going to create a relationship that's going to fail in the long run. And third, it's an openness to kind of have dedicated resourcing. A lot of times in the forecourt space, labor, like any retail business, is a massive consideration. And when you look at the kind of work ethic of a lot of organizations, they'll try and get the staff to deliver multiple brand offers. What we do within EG Group is we have dedicated management assigned to each of our brand partner execution or concessions. This is important for us because when you're going into a Subway, you want somebody who understands how to deliver the Subway culture, experience, and the product that they're producing. You want it to be the standard of what a Subway equity store would be kind of offering to their customers.
Just thinking about it from an EG Group perspective, if we talk about some of the most popular operators in the US market, they all really are concerned to be a great place to work. You're a major employer. now. I mean, how important is that is the EG culture within all of this?
Very important in terms of having the right corporate culture within the business. When you're experiencing the growth that we are kind of seeing in terms of the international kind of acquisitions, that presents an interesting proposition to a lot of our workforce. There's opportunities to work within the kind of project management function as we transfer assets across to EG Group. Long term, there's kind of deployment opportunities for people to go and work in international markets, because now we have a workforce that kind of understands retail from a fuel, convenience retail, and a food-to-go perspective. So having individuals within the workforce who can kind of deliver and work on projects where we're trying to create the future of convenience retail in France, in Netherlands, in Luxembourg, in Belgium, in Italy, in Germany. It's just a phenomenal message that gives staff the confidence of the sustainability of the business as well.
Now, the European consumer, you know, we're united by common trends, aren't we? I mean, if you go to any major European capital, you see a lot of commonality between consumer behaviours. Do you think that's crucial to the success of Eurogarages? Some of those commonalities in terms of the need to eat on the move, for instance.
Food to go is always a kind of a strong common thread, regardless of which market you go into. It's understanding what the offer has to be, which is the challenge. So common threads like food to go, people are on the move, whether it's for work or social reasons, people are traveling, and that's just increasing more and more. People, on their way to work, they'll pick up their coffee, they'll pick up their sandwich in the morning, and that's their breakfast. It's on the go. Lunch times as well, you look at how many people, they want to leave the office environment. You've just got to see how the trends kind of change from vending machines, food machines, all the way through to kind of in-company restaurants, to people now wanting fresh food, or the perception that they're accessing fresh food. So creating that destination hub with a broad food-to-go offer is a common theme regardless of country. Also, I think from a kind of a fuel perspective, the common thread of people driving around, okay, the diesel unleaded mix might be different in terms of the retail piece, but people need to fuel up. So that creates a footfall driver. And that's why we as a business have always focused on the roadside, what we are good at in terms of taking distressed or underinvested petrol forecourt assets and overlaying our business model on them to create destinations. We want to transform the consumer perception that I'm going to the petrol station to buy a distressed product, normally fuel, to one where I'm making a choice. I want to go to that location because I can have my business meeting there. I want to go to that location because I can pick up my lunch from there. So all these notions are common threads, whichever culture you go in. What's the challenge is creating or executing the right brand offers.
Well, my last question is about optimism for the future. And whenever I've come here over many years, optimism is something that I always discover. But I'll ask it anyway. You know, are you optimistic about the future?
I'm very happy that we are in a sector which is getting phenomenal interest. So I'm very optimistic about the whole kind of forecourt retail convenience sector. I think it's gone through over the last few years. I think it's received the attention that it deserves. And I think the big focus on the sector, it's going to continue into the future as people are looking at these locations as destinations.
Well, what a story. IIyas Munshi, thanks very much.
Thank you, Dan.